Good evening, crafting friends. I'm Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Simply Stamping Sunday. I hope you've had a great weekend and didn't get too much snow or any of that good stuff. I'm just trying to see if I've got this on my iPad so I can make sure everything is centered and you can see it. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, either on the live or the replay, or on my YouTube channel. Excuse me. Thank you for supporting my small business by watching and commenting and liking and all of that good stuff. Well, we are here for week 2 of the Softly Sophisticated Celebration stamp set that we're using this month, and we are also using tonight the Softly Stippled Designer Series paper. And so you can find the Stippled Designer Series paper on page 8 free with a $50 purchase. And then the stamp set is found on page 14 of the Celebration catalog. It is free with a $100 purchase, and you also get the embossing folder to go with it. So you can earn both of these free with a purchase. And if you need any help with that purchase, don't hesitate contacting me. So let's start with looking at the Softly Stippled Designer Series paper. I want to make sure you get a good view of what this looks like. It is just exactly as it says. It has a stipple kind of design, and it's very soft. And it has the colors on here. We have the Wild Wheat and the Pool Party ink. Here we have some more Pool Party ink. We're going to be using this piece in tonight's design, and some more Wild Wheat on the back. This just gives us the Pebbled Path and some Calypso Coral, some more Wild Wheat, and then some more Pool Party on the back. Some Calypso Coral roses, so pretty, and then some Pebbled Path on the back, and then just some of that Wild Wheat and Calypso Coral, floral images, and then some gray on the back. So that is what the Designer Series paper looks like. Okay, so we're going to be using most of our stamps tonight, and I kind of think about tonight's projects as, we all need in our wardrobe a little black dress, and tonight we're going to make 2 little black cards using black cardstock. So it reminds me of just thinking about a little black dress. So on one of them, I think we're using Hello There for one of our greetings. We're going to use both of the floral images tonight. So we'll get those mounted of the flowers. And then our other stamped image is going to be You're in My Thoughts. So let's get that one out and on a block. There we go. So we got everything mounted. We're just not using one stamp out of the set tonight. So as a review, as I usually start, are the cards that we made last week. Are these 2 cards that we did last week, if you joined me. And this week, as I said, we're going to make 2 cards with black and white cardstock. So the first one we're going to be doing is this one with the Designer Series paper. And we're going to be using Pool Party and Lost Lagoon ink. And on the inside, we'll be stamping a little bit of it as well. And then our other card is this one. And it's done with the Lost Lagoon and the Calypso Coral. So let's get started. They're both simple cards. Remember, with Simple Stamping Sunday, I am always looking for ways that we can just use ink paper and stamps. So that is what we're doing tonight. So there's the front of our cardstock. That is our card. So on the card will be going this way. So we're going to have our background be a piece of basic white cardstock. The inside is going to be basic white cardstock. And we're going to be layering some of the Designer Series paper. So let's go over all of the dimensions of all of this. So for this first card, you're going to need a piece of basic black cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5. And then you're going to need a longer piece that measures, and then you'll need the square that measures, sorry about this, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then for basic white, you're going to need two pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4. And you are going to need a piece that is 2.5 by 2.5. And then this piece of softly stippled Designer Series paper is 2 1/4 by 2.5. And as I'm looking at that, I think I'm going to have to fix my dimensions because I think I switched up some things in my typed document. Okay, let's start with just putting some of these things together. So I'm going to start by adding the Designer Series paper to the piece of basic black cardstock. And this is going to go on my front piece. I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge so I have the white cardstock showing on both sides. And so let's just add some there we go. And then this is just going to go on the front of our card. And then we're going to be ready to do our stamping for this card. So there we go. So that's just the basic setup of the card. So we'll set that aside. And then we're going to need these two pieces that we're going to be stamping. So I'm going to start with stamping my leaves. So I'm going to be using the Lost Lagoon ink. And I am going to be stamping that a little bit off to the side. And then I am also going to be stamping that on this piece of the inside piece. So we have both of those stamped, just going in different directions. And let me close the... And then we're going to stamp our floral image, which is this one right here. And I'm going to be stamping for this one in the Pool Party ink. And so I'm going to line this up so that blossom fits right where it's supposed to fit. Oops, and I totally didn't ink up the whole stamp. So there's a good thing, there's always two sides of the paper. I didn't even see that, or I didn't press well enough. So let's start this again on the other side. We'll go back to our Lost Lagoon ink and stamp that. And then we'll make sure that this whole flower gets inked up really well and line it up much better. Okay. And then in my Lost Lagoon ink, I'm going to stamp my greeting, which is hello there. And that's going to go right up at the top. There we go. Okay, and then we just need to stamp our flowers again on the inside of the card. And again, lining it up so the blossoms go where they're supposed to go. So one thing I do love about photopolymer stamps is that we do get to be able to see what we're trying to do. Okay, so now let's just start putting all of this together. So this piece here is going to go on the inside of my card. Just going to center that. And I'm just going to turn to make sure you're seeing all of that. Okay, there we go. And then on the front, I am going to add this little piece here. And I'm going to take some dimensionals and put on the back side. There we go. And this card is almost done. We had a terrific snow squall this afternoon that, wow, it just really knocked like it was just, you couldn't see. It was just snowing so hard and it came down so fast. Okay, there's our first card. Okay, we'll set that one aside and let's get started on our next one. So this card let's just, okay, so this one is going to go horizontally instead of vertically. I am going to do my stamping on both of these pieces. I'm going to start with my front piece, which is going to have in Lost Lagoon. It's going to have the leaves over here towards the left-hand side of the card. And then we'll put this on the inside as well. There we go. And then my greeting is going to go up in the top. You're in my thoughts. So that will go right here. Done with the Lost Lagoon now. We're going to get out our Calypso Coral. And we'll stamp our flowers. I love making cards that are quick and don't take a lot of materials. There we go with our first set of flowers. I especially love two-step stamping, where you're able to stamp with two different inks and get everything that you need. All right, we're ready to start putting this all together. So this is for the inside of the card. Make make sure it's nice and centered. And then let's start putting together the front of the card. So I'm taking my, on this card, again, we needed an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock scored. I folded it in half at 4. The 2 pieces here are the same size as they were on the other card. It is 2.5 by 2.5 and 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. This is just going to get layered right on top. And again, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back side. So we can do that right now. I also have some black dimensionals that I could use. I forgot to pull those out. I usually use those when I'm using black cardstock or really dark cardstock. But you're not going to see them anyway. So that's ready to go. And then I cut 2 1/2-inch pieces of cardstock in the basic black that measure a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And I am just going to use these as accent pieces on the front of my card. So I'm going to put the first one about 1/3 of the way up. And I'm going to just make sure it's going across nice and straight. And then I'm going to put the next one about 1/8 of an inch lower. So I've just made this really nice little double border on the piece of white. And then I'm going to take off these dimensions and add this to the front of the card, like that. And then I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back side. And our second card for tonight, our second little, black and white card, kind of a little black dress of cards, is done. And here's the outside of the card and the inside. So it's so easy to make beautiful cards just using ink and paper and stamps, of course. So our cards tonight. Here was our first one. And of course we stamped the inside. And then here is our second one, where I also stamped the inside. So that is it for tonight's Simply Stamping Sunday. I'm so happy you were able to join me tonight, either live or on the replay. And I hope you come back next Sunday for another edition of Simply Stamping Sunday using the softly sophisticated stamp set. And please join me Friday night. I have a really fun fold to show you Friday night. And I will be using the Enduring Beauty stamp set. Actually the entire bundle, and I'll be showing you what's special about that bundle. So I hope you're able to join me Friday night, and of course I'll see you next Sunday night on Simply Stamping Sunday. Thanks. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.